Good. All right, Coach, go ahead.
Thought it was a really good practice to open up. We have a lot of new faces, offense, defense, a lot of old faces as well, coaches as well. We walked through the practice after our staff meeting today. Thought we were very well organized. I thought the kids transitioned well. We started the practice a little bit slow in our fastball starts, but we picked it up after that. I thought there was a lot of plays out there, and we had a good, solid 2-hour practice.
Great, Joe.
Have you had that many new players in a spring? I can't remember. I know it's been a lot lately, but 22, I guess, plus 10 walk-on, 10 new walk-ons.
No. We had 19 of the super seniors come back, 2 years ago, I guess. But new players, I think that end up being maybe, like you say, maybe 22, 23 guys. It was our first day for some of the kids that earned the right to walk on through our walk-on tryouts as well. I thought it went really smooth, and it was kind of exciting to go around and see, kind of like Christmas, kind of going around and seeing what kind of present you have out there on the football field. We kind of had an idea about the guys in the off-season program, but it's nice to see them go out there, the new guys. And I mean guys that haven't played a whole lot that were here last year as well. That was really nice to see them play football.
Marion Harris and Andrew Chamblee were both in the first group today. I didn't hardly recognize them. I had to double check their numbers on there. Marion, I remember going to seeing him in ninth grade, and I think he was bigger then.
He was
right now, 297, and then Chamblee's down to 310. At one point, he was 390 a couple years ago.
They've really, and Marion, I'm even going, hey man, that's plenty. He said we're running him too much. He can't gain weight, but those two guys, you're right. I mean, they've really transformed their bodies, and all the guys are really taking a liking to our off-season program, and the ones that we needed to gain weight have done so, and the ones that we needed to lose and get a little quicker and have done that as well. So you're right. They look really good. I think this spring we're going to have a lot of different guys play with the ones and things. We're just trying to find out who our best players are, but they certainly have earned that right through the off-season program.
He looked like Nico DeValier flashed when we were out there.
Yeah.
What did you see from him and anybody else flashing?
Man, I've really liked him. I really have in the off season, and I think his mind is, I didn't get to play much last year, and I'm sure going to this year. He was chasing the ball as well as anybody that we have. Just right off the bat, I think our wide receiver group, I felt like Criswell and KJ and those guys threw the ball well. And I think we've got some guys that can catch the football. I like our new guys that we brought in. I keep talking about Jaden Wilson, but he's done a nice job, and Bryce and those guys, and Sategna. Running backs are obviously old timers. They've been here throughout. Our offensive line, I thought, had minimal errors today. Defensively, I think our defensive line is going to be fine. We've had some additions. I think they'll help us. And then at linebacker, Pooh showed out today. He can really run. I think he's taken towards more of that leadership role. And then back in the secondary, we're beat up a little bit right now, and I know it's hard to say when you have your first day of practice, but we've got a few guys that's got a few injuries. And but I thought Snacks had a good day out there, and I'm liking Jalen Lewis. I think he's doing a nice job out there as well. So there's a lot of guys. I missed a bunch of them, but I was proud. It's just spiders and not contact right now, but the practice went well. The kids ran to the football.
You got a younger guy with Nico. They're about 275 or so. It's is he an inside guy or is he going to be an outside? I think he was working on the edge today. Is that where you see him moving forward? I
do right now. I think we're trying to get him ready, to be honest with you, Trey, to play that down guy and play that jack position, that buck position. So because he can run so well, a good pass rusher as well. And so right now he's about as big as we probably want him to get. If it ever came to a point where we thought he could get on the field more by moving him inside, we would certainly talk to him about that. But right now he runs well enough. He can stand up and rush from a stand up, or he can drop. I think we've got him right where we want him at this point.
How long might you be out, or can you project how long Quincy and Walcott might be out and what they have?
Yeah, Quincy, I believe Quincy will be back probably. Well, I believe he'll be back after spring break. I think he'll probably miss the first 5 practices. Al, he probably will not be back this spring. I think he'll be ready to go probably mid-June, early July, and be ready for fall camp. But we've had a few of those guys. Luke Brown was also in that same category. But I think the rest of them will be back at some point here, like Day. I expect him to be back by not back. He's been hurt. Be ready to go after spring break. I think we'll have everybody we have after spring break besides Dominique, Al, and Luke Brown.
What do you make of the new wideouts of Armstrong, Tesla, and Roden? Did any of them?
The thing about Broden, off of his tape, I didn't know. To be honest with you, I knew he's tall and could catch. I didn't know how fast he was, and he can run now. He can go, and Tesla seems to catch everything around him. He's runs really good routes. Had a really good coach where he came from, and Armstrong. We're just really pleased that we have all 3 of those guys to go along with the guys we have on the team.
What are your thoughts on trading Jeff Goat and John Moore day one?
I like them. I mean, I think they'll be hard to block, rushing the passer or as a tight end trying to block them. They're both good sized guys that have motors, and again, we're not in pads or anything, but you can only impress with what the uniform of the day is, and both of them certainly did.
Your initial impressions on Malachi Singleton and Jacoby Criswell?
Jacoby's got a really strong arm, very accurate. I think, to be honest with you, Trey, I think he plays better under the lights. I think he plays better in a team setting than maybe even what he would do and just throwing routes on air and things of that nature. I think he's a gamer. Malachi had some really nice balls today. I think he's really worked his tail off trying to learn the offense, and had some nice throws. He's tough. He's competitive. I like his arm strength. So I like there's a lot to like about both those guys. Criswell obviously is a little older, and so he's been in college and all those things, and should have a little more grasp of what we're trying to do just because he's been in a system in college. But I like both those guys. I think they're both going to be really good players here.
Devin Manuel looked like got some run with the ones also.
Yeah.
What do you think of him? And then is Latham going to be a guard, or will he still get one of those?
I think that's still yet to be decided. We're going to go through these 15, trying to have different scenarios up front to see how we can move the ball the best with what 5 guys at what 5 positions. That's not unusual. We've done that for the most part, besides maybe Ricky and Dalton. We've done that for the most part each and every year. But I think Dev is a guy that has to come on for us. I think it'll be the same thing, to be honest with you, Tom, with Tykees Crawford. Where are we going to play him? We're going to play him at right tackle. We're going to play him at right guard. What are we going to do there? And I think that has a lot to do with Amarian, Josh Braun, some of those guys, once we get a good evaluation on them. But right now we're basically practicing everybody on the team, and So we're getting good looks at all of them.
My first thought when I saw Antonio Greer was muscular. What was your first impression?
Yeah. Smart, grown man. I mean, he has a grown man maturity about him. He's really come in here and done a nice job. The players on our team have really accepted the new guys as well. There's two parts to that, story, but he can run. He certainly has had a good 8 weeks in the weight room, but he's played a lot of ball, and he's come in and handled that situation coming in here. We have a room full of young guys in there, really, and he's handled that really well with those young guys.
How young is this linebacker core? Like, are they? I mean, Crooks gotten in, he's got some action. I don't remember Powell getting a whole lot, but and then of course Chris Paul. Like, do you view this as a really young group of linebackers, even with Greer in there? And is there a need to add another guy?
Yeah, I do, and that would always be a possibility. Just depend on if the guy could help us or not. I don't think I'd take one because we've got to groom these young guys. I think we signed 3 good linebackers. Of course, Sanford's not here yet, but out of high school, I meant. And so I think it's just going to depend on, the portal will open the 15th of April, just kind of depend on how we come along to would be whether we take another guy. We don't want to just take a guy. We want a good player that can help us, obviously, on defense and special teams. So that is a position that we're looking at, along with tight end and another offensive lineman and inside player on defense, some things of that nature.
You mentioned just a few spots there. I've got you at 77 scholarship guys, I think.
Yeah.
After Singletary addiction.
Yeah.
So how do you view that? I mean, you say you don't want to just take a guy, but I mean, you got a lot of spots to fill.
Well, I think we just don't want to take somebody that we don't think can help the football team. And we've done a pretty good job in the portal as far as taking guys that help us, and if we find anybody at really any position, I probably less than quarterback, probably maybe running back, we would take them, but we are actively looking for those 4 positions that I talked to you about, along with possibly a safety.
Looks like the reporting is going to be, or the SEC is going to go with a 9-game schedule. And you've been reported to have permanent opponents of us, Ole Miss, Missouri, and Texas. What do you think?
I think it's outstanding. I do. I think renewing the Texas rivalry for our fans, and I'm supposing I don't know this, but I'm supposed that the University of Texas fans, it's a close proximity. And then obviously I did not want to lose. I'm sure Coach Drinkwitz feels the same way. I did not want to lose the rivalry with Missouri. I think it's a great rivalry. And the other one was, Ole Miss or Oklahoma or some, whomever. And they gave us Ole Miss. And certainly, I think all 3 of them are really good football teams, but they keep us pretty close. It'd be pretty close for the fans to go see the games, and it'd be a home and home every year or every other year. And I would be really excited about the 9-game schedule.
Your thoughts on Paris Patterson and Joey Sua? Paris, big looking.
He's a big guy. Yeah. Well, in the off season, I thought, man, that's a big old boy out there trying to run as much as we run. They fought through it. We've had Joey over here, so we knew what we were getting, and we had Paris, and he was in camp, so we knew what we were getting. I think both of them, they work extremely hard, smart kids, and I think they're going to be fine players for us. Hopefully, well, they will. Both of them got to drop a few pounds, and they'll do that. We've got a good nutritionist and is helping these kids in a big way, as you saw.
What's your envision? Like, how do you envision Luke Has developing as a player, like not just this year, but in coming years? It seems like a guy that could maybe move around a lot, maybe play off the line, on the line now.
I think so. I think I told Dan today at practice, I said, hey, this kid, if we need him to gain 10 pounds, he got to gain 10 pounds. He's talented now. And he goes 1,000 miles an hour, just like his brother. But he is really talented, caught some nice balls today. I think when we recruited him, I think obviously KB was the coordinator at that point. We'd think about moving him and all this kind of stuff and have him go vertical and all that. I think in our offense that we're doing now, I think he can be an everyday player. I think he's going to be that good. I think he can be an every down player, and we just got to give him a little bit more weight on him. But that'll come, if he just continues to work. I think you'll see a 10, 12, 15-pound bigger kid in August than you do right now. But him and his brother both just work their butt off. They're both going to be really good players for the Hogs.
Overall pleased with today's practice?
I really was. We fell on the ground one time, rolled up Dean a little bit. I think he's fine. He didn't come back, but he was jogging around, moving around. I think he's going to be fine. But I thought the coaches did a really nice job, and the kids responded to that. I think our kids are really responding to our strength staff and our coaches, and that's how I think you can get a lot better fast. They're taking coaching, and I thought today was really nice. I really enjoyed it.
My last question would be, your safety group with Walcott not in there for a while, how they look?
Yeah, that's a group back there where, Jaden Johnson has really had a nice off season. Like I say, Jay Lou, that's a group back there. I think we need Al to get healthy. Even with Singletary and some guys, it might allow us to move some guys around. That group right there is probably the most injured that we have right now as far as not being out there. Because when you take Quincy out and you take Al out, and Day-Day's not healthy quite yet, but he's close. And then Jaheim's not here. You've got what we think are four guys that can really play. It'll be great for us because Snacks went out there and played corner today, and I thought he had a heck of a day. So once we get all the pieces healthy and out there, I think we'll have a good idea who those safeties will really truly be.
Malik Chavis, he's safety now.
Yeah, all he needs is confidence. That's all he needs. He can run. He's big. I think they've taken to Coach Woodson and Coach Wilson and so I think he's going to be just fine. And again, he's gotten bigger and stronger. So I think I think this could be his year.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys. What score now?